Hey guys, what's up? Right now it's like 5 p.m.-ish, November 16th, so free agency opened up. And yeah, the goose is loose. Everyone knows what's up. The final roster for TSM is going to be Huni, Spica, Parabibel, Doublelift, and SwordArt. So there's been a lot of comments about Huni. I'm definitely going to get to that. And TSM fanbase telling me I baited them when I said TSM did work in the off season. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. So first things first, I said the speculated roster for TSM was going to be Impact, Spica, Parabibel, Doublelifter Lost, and Ignar. I did correct myself, so you can't really rag on me. I definitely corrected myself before Jacob Wolf or Travis or other people reported. A source within TSM told me what the roster was going to be, and yeah, I couldn't reveal it, but I at least wanted to make sure that you guys don't think I have shit information. So at that point, what I knew was that Ignar and EG committed to each other, so Ignar wasn't going to be the support, and also Ignar wasn't the highest support on TSM's list. They were looking at a lot of the LCK supports. As for top lane, I knew Impact was no longer in the race, and it was between Huni and Licorice. From what I heard, TSM picked Huni over Licorice. I know it's a source thing. I might not be 100% correct, and it is very weird to think about that they picked Huni over Licorice. And the other thing is, it might not be true, right? My source might be lying to me. My source might be wanting to cover up for TSM. I have no idea. It's still very questionable. I really do trust in the source, but from 1,000 feet above, Huni over Licorice is really weird. One thing we do have to keep in mind was that package that C9 sold to FlyQuest, which consisted of Polyfox, Licorice, and one more player. I'm so sorry that I forgot your name. I'm gonna say Diamond. If it's not Diamond, correct me with text editor. But yeah, that package screwed over a lot of teams. Palafox was really wanted by a lot of teams, so was Licorice. So yeah, FlyQuest was able to get all three of those players, and that's going to be the core of their starting roster. So let's get back on topic and talk about TSM's two new players. I don't think a lot of people know about SwordArt, so let's start with SwordArt. SwordArt is coming off the best performance of his career. He just made World Finals with Suning. Unfortunately, they got wrecked by Damwon Gaming, but yeah, he is still a World Finalist coming to North America. I know Broxa made World Finals with Fnatic and then went to Team Liquid, but this one feels a lot different, and I'll tell you why. Even though SwordArt isn't the most flashy member on Suning, oftentimes he's going to be playing weak side with his AD carry, and Suning's style was way more towards jungle and top lane. He's still a very, very crucial piece. We hear a lot about his leadership and his veteran presence, and think about it this way. Suning had all very, very newish players, and SwordArt was the only veteran, and he was able to take this roster all the way to the top in LPL, but also all the way to finals at Worlds. And it's not like he's just a bad mechanics, weak side player. We've seen a lot of playmaking from him, especially on his signature pick Thresh, during the times when he used to play for Flash Wolves, the Korean team killer. So yeah, this is a very well-rounded leadership support player coming off the top of his career joining TSM. TSM fans should be very, very happy about this pickup. I know a lot of people were praying for the LCK supports. LCK supports, like the names that were out there, Life, Lihen, Kara, like these players are great, but also SwordArt is at that level, if not better. And one last thing before I start talking about Huni, one thing that SwordArt gets praised over and over again for is his work ethic. From the start of his career to now, there has been an endless stream of praise about how hard this guy's always working, always putting in the time, never slacking. I mean, he went to LPL and he got paid, and he's still really putting out great results. So yeah, that's not something fans are gonna have to worry about a lot. Now let's talk about the more controversial topic, Huni. So there's a lot of up and down opinions about Huni, especially from fans. But the EG analyst Nazer did say Huni is kind of a smurf, and he's been a great piece on every team he's played for. I mean, my counterpoint to that would be, if he's so great, why are you guys letting him go for Impact? Just start him on your team. I don't think Nazer's just saying bullshit about Huni to make people be hyped about Huni. I think Nazer does believe Huni is an incredibly good player, but it is telling that they are letting him go for a different player, right? If you like him so much, why not just keep him? Anyways, let's actually talk about Huni. Since there is a lot of opinions, I'm gonna give my opinion and you can take it for what it is. For me, Huni is an incredibly talented player. He plays carries, which are some of the hardest champions to play, especially in top lane. It is a very, very thin line to thread, playing carries very, very well. And yeah, he's been very good at that. He's also shown proficiency in other games. I remember when Overwatch just came out, he made like top 100 or something. This guy is just very good at video games. So the whole big thing about Huni is he's very inconsistent. He can't play tanks. I do agree on the tank thing somewhat. He did play tanks back on SKT and he was kind of forced to do it. And truly, he wasn't the tank player that SKT needed him to be, and he didn't really fill out the role all the way. And when you talk about his time on NA, there's some great highs on teams like Echo Fox, Immortals, Clutch Gaming. There's also very low lows on teams like Dignitas, and also going all the way down to Academy with EG before starting for the main team again. So how do we feel about Huni? How should we feel about Huni? I honestly don't know too much. And Huni is the piece that I'm most worried about when I think about TSM. Huni, according to EG staff, has put in more work than he's ever done in the past in North America. He's played more solo queue games during his time on EG compared to when he was on other teams. So that is definitely an upward trend. And Huni could have cashed out at a different team. It's not something I know, or it's not something I heard from a source, but I would imagine Huni had multiple offers. And I would also imagine TSM wasn't the highest paying team. Huni joined TSM to win. Huni on EG was motivated, and having the chance to play for TSM with such a stacked roster should motivate him more. But he was inconsistent in the past, right? And I genuinely believe when people show you who they are, you should believe who they are. But people can also change too. This one's just so confusing to me because I'm biased towards TSM, and I'm also biased towards players like Huni doing well. I love it when a Korean import comes over and really gets into North America. He's not just here for a year or two. He really loves North America, really loves LCS, and really wants to be here long term and do well for himself. I'm always rooting for players like that. And Huni is a player like that, but he's also been so inconsistent before. And I also kind of hate players that aren't able to play all kinds of styles. I think it's really important that a player is flexible. Right now in preseason, tanks are OP. That doesn't mean tanks are going to be OP once LCS starts, but that could definitely be the case, and Huni has to be the best tank player for Huni to be the best player for TSM's top lane. And there is a really good point that Dom mentioned, that BB, ever since he came to North America, has been slapping Huni upside down, which has been true. And TSM decided to get rid of BB and get Huni. And the big thing is they got Huni over players like Licorice and Impact. I'm sure TSM is going to shed more light on all this, but yeah, I'm also very confused about the choice. So I want to talk about the TSM roster as a whole now that we know all the pieces coming in. I think it's going to depend a lot on what we're going to get out of SwordArt and Huni. For Power of Evil, even though he's a new player coming in, he's very normalized to North America, I want to say. He's been here a while, and you know exactly what you're going to get from Power of Evil. Spectacular mage play. For SwordArt and Huni, that's where the question marks are. For SwordArt, I'm not that worried because of the work ethic thing. If he's being praised over and over for work ethic, he's gonna do great in North America. I think imports do badly in North America when they don't have the work ethic, when they can't put in the same kind of work that they did before in their home region to get them to that level of success before coming to North America. They come here, they get lazy, they think LCS is kind of a dog shit tournament. So yeah, they just kind of phone it in. And from hearing about who SwordArt is as a person, from reading articles, hearing interviews, and also just talking to insiders, I think he's gonna kill it. There has been cases of supports coming over and not doing very well, supports like Mitty, supports like Yellowstar, but I think a modern example that we can look toward to is Core JJ. Core JJ came into North America, linked up with Doublelift, and put on a great performance. And he's probably the best player of 2020, arguably with Bjergsen, who just retired. So yeah, Core JJ was a home run. And I think SwordArt can also be a home run for TSM. For Huni, I talked about it a lot in the Huni section. I really don't know what kind of Huni we're going to get. He seems to be extremely motivated, and TSM staff, who's been able to talk to Huni, who's been able to talk to all the other pieces. And also from what I heard, Andy was very much willing to spend. He could have easily gotten Licorice or Impact, but they did pick Huni, right? Maybe there is something that I'm missing. Fans, I know you're angry. I'm really confused too. Let's just wait to hear a little bit more about TSM. I will say, if Huni fits in properly, if the meta is great for TSM, I have very high hopes for this roster. I'm not going to call them like the favorites to win, because I definitely don't think they are the favorites. I think they are a top 3 roster. On paper right now, C9, TL, and TSM, their rosters look really good, and it's going to be hard to see how the rosters below them compete. to break into that top 3. But it is League of Legends, anything can happen, and normally pre-season power rankings definitely don't stay true. I've always seen like these top tier teams, you always think they're gonna do well, and then there's like a piece that doesn't click, or a lower tier team like shoots up in the rankings. I'm gonna do a power ranking once all the rosters are finalized, but yeah, I think it's very safe to say these are the top 3 teams on paper. I'm very, very excited and curious about TSM going into 2021. What's Bjergsen gonna look like for a coach? What's SwordArt gonna look like? He's a world finalist. He's a crucial piece of that Suning roster coming over to play for North America. How good is his English going to be? How is he gonna fit into the rest of the team? Will this be double as last year? There's so many fun things to look forward to. I'm also very much looking forward to the new spring split format, and I'm gonna be hitting you guys with a lot of videos now that we have all these roster moves coming in, so don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single video. And oh yeah, one last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just loco. Bye.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words.